Fnaf and Funko. Name a worse combo. Look, this video isn't the dog on Fnaf, but it is definitely the dog on Funko and their Fnaf merch. Now, I could go on and on and on about how Funko Pops suck, but I'm not going to. That has already been beaten into the ground. Instead, I'm going to tell you how their traditional Fnaf action figures really stink. Now, for those who live under a rock, these are the Fnaf Funko figures. They kinda look funky, I gotta say that. Now, first we're gonna go over the designs, because there's a whole heap of problems. Here we have a picture of Freddy Fazbear. Looks normal, right? Well, here's Funko Freddy Fazbear. Now tell me if you see any differences. Any at all. It's the teeth. That's our first point. For some reason, Funko decided to give the Fnaf 1 animatronics top teeth. Look, I know that's nitpicking, but come on. This Fnaf 1 takes place after 2 bites. You think they could, remove the top teeth to prevent more dangerous bites. Funko?
What's a bite? A FNAF lore? Oh my god, there's lore? I thought it was just a game where Bunny Man goes boo.
The more and more you look at these FNAF figures, the more and more lazy they become. Why does Bonnie have a tail? I don't remember Freddy having a tail, and Bonnie is just a remodel of Freddy, so it says Scott. No, the other Scott, there we go. Now, I'm just gonna put it out there now. It took SFM and Gmod modelers a long time to get at least an accurate model of the characters. But Funko has a direct link to Scott as it's his merch, so they could at least try, but just like Funko Pops, they're not going to try. Now on to more points. You see this? This is Bonnie's leg. If the camera would focus, you could tell it's got a ball joint. In fact, almost every joint on these figures is a ball joint. Now, this is a real big concern, because these ball joints don't stay on very well. It isn't like Hasbro Transformers, no. These ball joints fall off real easy. Now tell me, good viewer, who can't respond to me, is there a real reason why they needed to make every single joint on these figures a ball joint? The answer is no. It's an easy answer. It's no. Because the way this works is that it's all wonky all over the place. And since they didn't even use sturdy ball joints, you'll be just posing them and plop, it falls off. Now, it's not that hard to put it back on, but over time it's going to lose its thick grip and become really, really loose. Funko also has a bad habit of releasing them in funky ways. The first wave, of course, is Fnaf 1 animatronics. The second wave was Fnaf 4? And Funtime 5. What the hell? It should have went Fnaf 1, 2, 3, 4 sister location and on and on. But instead they're releasing them in random order. And don't get me started on the Build-A-Figures. So far I have Bonnie and Chica with a Foxy on the way. And in Wave 1, which by the way those ones belong to, you would get a piece of Springtrap that you could then assemble if you collected them all. Now, I don't like this business model, and Funko's not the only company that does this, but come on! It's like they're putting all the interesting ones behind this. They know what they're doing. Everyone wants a Springtrap. Well, everyone who likes FNAF wants a Springtrap. And even the design for Springtrap himself is terrible. He's piss yellow and just has a vacant stare. In the game, he was more green and had like an evil grin on his face. And now I kind of feel obligated to buy the other two in the first wave, being Freddy and Golden Freddy, so I can finish the Springtrap. If not, I'll just have, when Foxy gets here, a Springtrap with no arms. What's the point of that? And what if I just want one of the figures in Wave 1? Say I like Foxy, but despise everybody else. We're just gonna be left with Springtrap's torso and head. And don't get me started on the other characters that are like this. Ennard and Night Marionette are in these categories, and they're awesome! The characters are awesome in their appearances and play major roles in them. Why would you cut them up and put them all in a bunch of packaging, making us have to buy in bulk, and maybe getting characters we don't want? And their size. Oh my god, the size. It is too small. Too big at the same time. There's nothing else in scale with these things. The only action figures I have that are in scale with these things are my NECA Turtles in Time Ninja Turtles, but more on that later.
Funko's Fnaf figures. Where do I even start? At first, when I was a kid, I thought these figures were alright. They looked fine at least. But now looking back, however, they're not so great. Highly inaccurate, either ripped from SFM models or just made, but have several design inaccuracies, etc., as pointed out by Floppy and Goji. So, I'm not going to beat around this bush. I'm just going to get to the companies who I think would handle the FNAF brand better, so without further ado, here we go. I'll also be giving some commentary on why the FNAF Funko figures suck, so here we go. These are the companies who I think would do better with FNAF than Funko. They are, from left to right, NECA, Bandai, McFarlane and Hasbro. I'm going to be taking a look at figure from each of their various lines, which include NECA Godzilla, SH Figuarts, DC Multiverse and Power Rangers Lightning Collection. So let's start with Godzilla. Okay, so here we have the 1962 Godzilla, which is considered one of the best figures in the line. And as you can see, a lot of nice detail, and as you can see from an image I'm going to put, or Floppy's going to put in editing right here, this looks very accurate to the suit. The image will probably be displayed in post-editing, but still, here's the image. And with the image away, we can move back to the figure itself. Tail joint, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6, I never really count. Head is on a double ball joint, here, and jaw articulation. Arms, hands, you know, the whole Godzilla shebang with this sort of thing. Personally, I think NECA would do a good job due to their whole creature design thing. Their human figures never really hold up well, but their monster figures, that's a different story. Well, to me at least, and from my experience. But yeah, NECA, reason for creature design. Moving along to Bandai, we will be using Ultraman Zet as an example. Now, as we can see with Zet, just like Godzilla, he is extremely show accurate. Suit picture on the right for reference. And moving closer to the head, as you can see, it is modeled directly after the costume. Everything is here, the color timer being translucent, and the fact that it moves naturally, like, you know, something humanoid would. Now, reason why I think Bandai would do great with this line is, we all know Bandai's track record with Kaiju and the Ultra series, as well as the Kamen Rider and Super Sentai series. So I think in terms of monster design and accuracy of things, since I've also done a ton of video game figures recently, such as their Mario line from way back when, oh, and their Pokemon line as well, I think they'd do good. So, reason for Bandai, accuracy to the product, and the fact they've done a few video games. Well, video game figures, but you get the idea. So, moving right along, we have McFarlane with the DC Multiverse. Now, the reason why I've chosen the DCAU Flash in particular is because somehow the mad lads at McFarlane were able to take a 2D design like the DCAU Flash and somehow translate it into 3D and still make it work. Yet the people over at Funko were never able to get the Fnaf designs, which are that area between 2 and 3D, 2.5D as people call it, in a few of the games. Now, why they can't get it right, to this day perplexes me. But still, if this company can take something that was 2D and translate it well into 3D, I think they'd do well with Fnaf. So, reason for McFarlane, ability to translate things into a 3D, a physical 3D item and do it well, even if it's from a 2D thing. That's the reason for them. And last, but certainly not least, Hasbro. Now, a lot of people would think to use an example from Marvel Legends, but I am not most people. So instead I'll be pulling an example from Power Rangers Lightning Collection, specifically the Red Beast Morphers Ranger, otherwise known as Red Buster and Go Busters. Now, as you can see, again, this is extremely accurate to the suit it's based on. Even getting the zip detail on the jacket and the little silver badge if the camera will focus on it. The paint on the Morphin Brace and on the Beast X Saber. Now, why would I think Hasbro would be a good fit for this? Well, with Hasbro's track record of collectible figures, Transformers Generations, Marvel Legends, Star Wars Black Series, Ghostbusters Plasma, and now Power Rangers Lightning Collection, they could do accurate FNAF figures and do them well. Since, they have the expertise. So, for Hasbro, not Bandai, Hasbro, the reason is expertise in accuracy. Now, let me just bring everything back. You may have noticed a consistent theme with my choices, and that being the theme of accuracy. Why was accuracy such an important theme here is because the FNAF figures are highly inaccurate to their source material. So that's why, for a lot of fans, they aren't as well received as some figures are. So, I don't really have that much more to add, so I'm just going to pass the mic back to Floppy or whoever's going to take next after me. So, until next time, yo-ho-hoy, yo-ho-hoy, yo-ho-hoy-hoy. Later.
I used to like Funko Five Nights at Freddy's. Back in 2016 for a game an indie game franchise like Five Nights at Freddy's, it's a dream come true. There's Foxy. He originally had really underwhelming looking paints, orange, but I fixed him. Articulation was alright back in 2016 for a younger me, but they fall apart extremely easily. It doesn't even take effort to take them apart. And the fact they do a Build-A-Figure for something like Springtrap, that's my favorite Five Nights at Freddy's character. It's extremely bullshit because if you just sold Springtrap normally, he would sell pretty fucking well. Like, why bother? You're gonna sell a lot of Springtraps. As I grew older, I started collecting stuff like Mecha Godzilla. Pretty good articulation. Actually, really good. Has ball joints at the tail that don't disintegrate, hinge at the mouth. The fact this can exist really makes me think twice about these Five Nights at Freddy's figures from Funko. Which really makes me wonder, why does only Funko make Five Nights at Freddy's action figures? Like, it would probably be really big competition, but who the fuck cares? It's merch. And what really irritated me about the articulation is it's so limited, and places where you'd expect it, like the ankle, doesn't move at all. Mecha Godzilla here, look, swivel at the ankle, pivot, it's a ball joint. Pretty sturdy one. So why do, if companies like Sanchi can also have the plushie license right now, why not make NECA do Five Nights at Freddy's figures? Like, their sculpts are awesome. And they probably utilize the endgame models so they're more accurate, unlike Mr. Board Springtrap with the piss yellow. I could drag on about Funko's Five Nights at Freddy's merch for like ever. Their plushies suck ass, but this is about the action figures and how much they stink. So why not hand it over to different companies like NECA? I don't know, maybe some of these Japanese companies, SH Figure Arts. I'd buy that for $5.
And now that you just heard from my friends, I'm gonna give my 2 cents on what they just said. I think that there are other toy companies out there that would do a lot better with Five Nights at Freddy's than Funko has done. My main contender? NECA. I know NECA has some problems, but I've had less problems with them than I had with Funko Fnaf figures. And at one point, NECA, I believe, did have the license, but didn't do shit with it. They didn't make an Ultimate Fnaf action figure or something. I don't know why they didn't. But they should obtain the license again and make FNAF action figures. Maybe then we'll actually get some Withered animatronics. Who knows? I mean, just look at my NECA collection. Five Nights at Freddy's could fit somewhere in there. I could use another generic figure as a night guard, and having a FNAF action figure where not every joint has to be a ball joint. Anyways, this video is getting way too long, so if I think of anything else, I'll make a part 2, but as it stands, I said my piece. Good day.